Hey, what's up guys? Mincy here back again with another video, and today we are doing something a little bit different. I am going to be sharing my first impressions or thoughts on Gundam Evolution with you all. Now, I've played on controller and on console, especially multiplayer games, a majority of my life, so I've had a lot of experience in this. Now, this doesn't make me an expert in Gundam Evolution specifically. I've only played about 20 or so games, but I think I have some valuable insights that I'd like to share with you all, and those seasoned veterans of Gundam Evolution itself who have been grinding this game, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, because your guys' thoughts really do matter. But I wanted to go into the pros and cons of the game overall after 20 or so games of playing it. You're seeing one of my very first games that I played in solo queue, one of my first ones, so I'm still trying to figure out the characters, so bear with me on the gameplay, but it was a fun game nonetheless. Now let's get into the pros. Now, I've seen that this game is always compared to Overwatch because it is a hero shooter at its core. However, I really like that this is faster paced than Overwatch, or at least it feels like it's faster paced. I feel like the time to kill is a lot faster than Overwatch in a lot of instances, and I just like the movement overall. There's a lot of movement afforded to a lot of characters in this game too, so the faster pace definitely resonates with me way more than Overwatch. So I guess I kind of see where that comparison is coming from, but I think this is better because it's fast-paced. Now, I do think the classes are very fun too. I haven't really played any Gundams that I felt were really boring, so to speak. I always felt like I could really do damage and turn the tide of battle no matter what class I was, which was really refreshing after playing Overwatch, because as certain supports, you're only able to heal or support other players instead of actually doing damage and getting kills yourself. So I feel like the classes are more fun because of that. They're a lot more flex positions available here, which is awesome. Now, I do think the mechs look really cool. I have no idea what Gundams are. I've never watched the anime or anything. I'm not familiar with it. I do like anime and manga, but I've just never participated in it. But I think these mechs look so cool, and I see why this franchise has garnered so many fans over time. Now, I do think the game modes on offer really mix things up quite a bit, and I never found a game mode that I disliked. I think they're all really well done. I think they're all really fun. I think my least favorite was the team deathmatch because the other game modes were just so much more fun and team-oriented, so that's a good sign. I do appreciate the tons of settings that are available for controller players on PS5 specifically, because I haven't played this on anything else, but I assume other platforms have the same amount of options afforded to them, and this has so many different settings. You can tell that they really kept competitive players in mind, so that they could really have competitive players have the options of choosing the settings that they want, and the little specific intricacies of aiming and buttons. You can remap anything. It's just really great to see those settings. And then I've kind of touched on it a little bit in the previous points, but this game definitely feels competitive. There's a high skill ceiling, not just with shooting, but knowing, like, game sense, knowing the maps, and it just feels built around a competitive nature, which is not always the case with multiplayer games. And I think this has a really good balance of feeling competitive while also being really fun for a casual player such as myself. So those are the pros up front and right off the bat. But here onto the cons. Now, I do feel like the maps are mediocre, mostly in appearance. I don't think any of the maps are really bad. I feel like they feel pretty balanced in most cases. However, the sense of scale with mechs, I just feel like I'm a robot dude running around instead of a giant mech running through these open landscapes and cities. Like, I wish these maps conveyed more of a sense of scale with your characters, so that made you feel like you're actually a human in a giant mech. So I was kind of disappointed with that. I do feel like there's severe character imbalance, and yes, that's coming from a new player perspective. Maybe I just haven't figured out how to counter all of these players, but I feel like certain ones, especially one of the, I don't know the name off the top of my head, one of the melee Gundams is just absolutely insane. So I definitely think there's some balance to be had here, and there's another point I want to make on this, but it will be in a future con. But I feel like characters need to be balanced a little bit better. The matchmaking, my first few games, one of my first few games, I matched up with my friends. I had two of my buddies that I was like, hey, let's try this out, because we grind Apex together. And we hopped in this, and we literally lost probably like 6-7 times in a row, just absolute bloodbaths, because I think once you match up with players, you're getting partied up with other players that are partied up. However, it doesn't take into account how new you are or the stats or the skills whatsoever. And so I feel like the matchmaking is actually pretty bad. And I do feel in solo queue it's lessened to a degree, but I feel like it's always just a totally one-sided match where one team is completely destroying the other. And so I think there is some matchmaking issues to be had here. Again, I have a small sample size from how much I've played the game. Now, horrible monetization. This is a huge one for me as a free-to-play shooter. I do like that there's no necessarily pay-to-win elements in this game where you can buy more power than other players who are utilizing the same mech as you or whatever. But the way you earn capital in this game is abysmal. You have like the beginner quests or stuff that you can complete or challenges, and you can get capital from there. And then you can get capital from 2 of the tiers of the battle pass, as far as I know. And that's it. As a free-to-play player, you're basically limited to getting 1 new Gundam per season. And with as many balance changes as I feel these mechs need, especially from season to season, it can be quite disappointing knowing that you're only going to be able to get 1 Gundam, and then you can't even guarantee that they're not going to get nerfed into the ground, or maybe one mech gets buffed that you were kind of thinking about getting, but you went with another, and then it gets buffed, and you're like, dang, I wish I could have gotten that. So it just feels like these Gundams are basically locked behind a paywall, except for the very patient players. I think this could definitely be fixed by at least giving you daily challenges, to 1 daily challenge a day, or a weekly challenge. Like honestly, a weekly challenge would do it, where I could get like not a substantial but steady capital just by playing the game. That's the need. I feel like it's not consistent enough. There's only 2 avenues that you can get capital from, and that's it. If I could feel like I'm consistently playing and working towards that capital, that would be great. But as a free-to-play player, it kind of feels bad. Now, no crossplay, no cross progression. This is huge for me. I love supporting crossplay games, and the fact that this isn't, it just feels archaic. I think that's one of the huge strengths of Fortnite specifically, is it has cross-play, cross progression. It doesn't matter what platform you're playing it on. It's all the same, no matter what, and you can play with anybody, anytime. Now this one, I wouldn't even mind if it had crossplay between Xbox and PlayStation. That would be great. It would give a larger player base to play with. But unfortunately, that's not even here. I'm just stuck with PlayStation players only, and Xbox is stuck with only Xbox, and PC is stuck with only PC. Now, I understand what the devs said, and that they've touched on this, is that they didn't want to deal with the aim assist debate, and they wanted to keep the competitive integrity of this game overall by just keeping the player bases separate. But I don't see the excuse for not being able to transfer your account at the very least, and then only play with those people, or like just having cross progression but not cross play, so that you can play with your buddies on whatever they're playing with. I don't know. It just feels really bad, and I wish at least consoles could cross-play with one another, not even cross-progression, because this game needs more players to play with. And that brings me to my final con. It seems like the player base is actually quite small, and I think PlayStation probably has the least of this problem. I got matched with the same players occasionally, but it wasn't every time. And it seems like PC is really suffering from this specifically. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. But I think this game needs more players. Overall, I think it's very fun. It has a ton of potential, especially as a free-to-play shooter. It was very refreshing for me to play. I really enjoyed it. And there's just a lot to like about it. It's just that these things are holding it back. And a lot of these things I feel are pretty archaic when it comes to its monetization being really bad, and no crossplay, no cross progression whatsoever, not even between consoles. It's just simple fixes, and I really hope they do it. But those are my thoughts. Don't forget to leave a like, pop a sub, and comment down below what you guys think, especially those of you who have spent a ton of time with the game, and I would really appreciate it. And thanks for clicking on this video and giving my content a chance. Love you guys. I hope you guys are staying safe, and take it easy.